That's so you can see. Welcome everybody. It's April 8th, 8th of April 2025, and this is where we find ourselves, as I was saying. But I'm unmuted now. Welcome. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. How you not day? How's everybody doing? Good? Yeah, we're gonna talk about OLUKOYA a little bit. Dr. Daniel something OLUKOYA. We're going to talk about him a little bit. Oh Lord. Doctor Minister, the founder, I think is the founder of Mountain of Fire Miracle Ministries. I have a lot of family members who are also members of that church. Everybody that I know has someone connected to that church. Thank you, Jerry Marriott. It's good to see you, Marriott. Yeah, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. But before we do that, shout out to everybody for being here. I appreciate all 7 of you for being here live. We have a fantastic show lined up. All right. Today is one of those days that we have to kind of touch a bit because I've been away for a few days. So it's a lot of stories that I need to catch up on with you guys. But we're going to do it. And I plan to not be here for too long either, So we won't be here for too long. But the first one is obviously this first one that we're talking about here. By the way, my name is Ola. I'm coming to you live from my Empire Pro Studios. Along with my wife, we are the authors of these books right here. Get My Marriage Back, as well as the second book, which you can tell that I have not done this in a while. Number 1 red flag. Okay, so you can download both books. You can just, by simply, we do have a masterclass, a 72 minutes masterclass for marriage, for fixing marriages in 45 days. So it's free. The books are free. If you're getting the audio books, they are free. If you're getting the PDFs, they are free. If you want them to be shipped to you, then obviously you have to at least pay for the shipping. All right, so welcome. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications. All right, we do have some trendy stories around the world. The first one, I think we should just tackle it right off the bat, is this Dr. OLUKOYA one. Dr. OLUKOYA again is the founder of Mountain of Fire and Mountain something MFM MFM. So there was a report that came out last week. It won't be the first time that Dr. OLUKOYA is attracting such crazy, grave allegations. It won't be the first time. So nothing special there, Nothing special. Hold on 1 second. Hold on, guys. All right. We're good. Just making sure that there's no noise penetrating our shows here. All right, so according to let's share this. There you go. According to, there's this young lady you're looking at. Her name is Ashekun, Mrs. Fumi or Funke Ashekun, something like that. So I'm going to read this report. Yele Showore, the publisher of Sahara Reporters, had already gone through cases in the past with OLUKOYA. OLUKOYA is also known for someone who files a lot of lawsuits, like on dissenting voices. If you say anything against him, you might just catch a lawsuit. Like, for example, me now, I can catch a lawsuit, even though it's allegedly, right? Anyway, so according to this report on Sahara Reporter, but he's notorious for that, allegedly, for filing a bunch of frivolous lawsuits. Both he lost a lawsuit to Showore here in the United States, but he files lawsuits in the United States, anywhere, London. He will file a lawsuit if there's a need to. If you say anything, criticize anything he's doing in his church. Now, Mountain of Fire is very similar to like Deeper Life and those kind of stuff. These days it might be a little bit different. And what I heard actually is that the governor of Lagos State is actually a member. So a lot of big people are now members of Mountain of Fire. But I'm not exactly surprised with that. Anyway, according to Ashekun, that's the lady you're looking at on the screen, and I'm reading now from Sahara Reporters, Ashekun spent nearly 20 years in the church. That's in Mountain on Fire Ministries, MFM. Let me make sure I'm pronouncing that right. It's actually, okay. Mountain of Fire and Miracles Ministries. Yes, there you go. So she spent 20 years in the church and served as a minister. OLUKOYA does not sue for justice, but instead uses lawsuits as a means to drain and silence those who speak out against him financially. So you might be wondering, what kind of song was that I played in the beginning? That was apparently, according to another young lady. Remember that lady, Bisola, Miss Bisola, who was dragging the late TB Joshua, right? You remember that lady? She had she was the one that played this music, and she was basically, she did like an open letter to OLUKOYA, correcting him that how can you sing this kind of song as if they paying them in church, that it is only ote. All right, so let's keep going. Let me keep reading here. Okay, so Nigerian social media influencer and YouTuber Mrs. Funke Ashekun has called on Christian organizations and the Nigerian government to investigate the allegation of intimidation and sexual molestation against Dr. Daniel OLUKOYA, the general overseer of the Mountain of Fire and Miracle Ministries. Okay. Now, obviously, I don't know these people, but I can tell you that men of God, okay, they're not immune. They are not. They are human beings like the rest of us. Do I have to say allegedly to that? They're human beings like the rest of us. So anything is possible, of course. But Nigerians they're gullible. So of course they were like, no, you know, and a lot of them are actually, they might say things like that out of place of fear. This is the lady right here, Ashekun. Let me play a little bit of this video.
You see that second video I showed you? Remind me later. You will see OLUKOYA's leg there. Or maybe I'll post it later and circle that leg for you. You may not see it clearly here. You even, as he was recording, his leg was showing on the rug there. You are wolf, man of God.
Okay, so she's talking to Dr. OLUKOYA. Now, obviously, we can't use legs. Can we use legs to identify people? You will need more evidence with that, right? But again, anything is possible. I'm just saying, you know. But the music that I played at the beginning was apparently, allegedly, the response from the Mountain of Fire to the Ashekuns and the Showres and anybody who is trying to drag the body of Christ or the anointed, right? As they paying them, and so it. It's in the church, Omo, you can't make this shit up. Let me play it again. I see the pain them, and so it is sweet. Oh, so it is sweet. Anyway, they were replying, apparently, allegedly, responding to this lady.
What poverty? You should be on sex offenders list. You shouldn't even be allowed to come into the US. Ẹ rò pé mi mọ nǹkan tí mò ń ṣe ni. Gbogbo yín bú mi láti àwọn ọmọ church ẹ̀ ń ṣépè fún mi. Ọpẹ́ jáde ó fi Bible kọ sí, I'm lying. Am I lying? The fact that I don't want to, I'm trying to protect you, think I'm stupid? I'm not stupid like you guys. I know what I'm doing. All
right, so this lady you're looking at, watch this.
Have any respect.
She's showing a lot of quote unquote evidence. These are just, again, screens, so I can't really make anything out of this. Outside of these are allegations and they have to be answered. Well, as you know, once Nigerian people start worshiping a certain person or persons, there's no need for investigation. In fact, they'll be asking you to provide the witnesses on social media. Anyway, which she's doing a lot of it, but I don't think it's ever going to be enough. Anyway, there's a lot of power in the hands of these people, and yes, Evil man of God, yes, a lot of power. Because people, when you have people, you have the power of influence. If you can influence a lot of people, as in thousands upon thousands of people, it's a lot of power to have. Okay, so I don't know what to tell you. So anyway, I'm reading the thing. Say, in an exclusive interview with Sahara Reporters on Monday, Ashekun accused Olukoya of employing legal intimidation tactics to silence critics while also alleging his involvement in misconduct within the church. She's actually lost cases, $50,000. I think she said $25,000. A lot of cases to Dr. Olukoya's associates who have sued her for defamation and things like that. When it comes to spiritual matters, it's very, very easy to defame people because I don't know if you will have that level of evidence. But people have the experience that they had their stories. It is what it is. But
we go explain because no evidence.
All right, so let's play a little bit more of this. Let me just go back here.
I never told you anything. See, what's me and Olukoya? God forbid bad thing. Me and Olukoya. Me, I'm not like you. As cheap as you are, somebody was fingering you inside toilet for 9 years.
So she's dragging another lady called Debbie, who is outrightly denying that no such thing happened to her, that she was not a victim of Olukoya. Apparently, she has allegedly has some other videos out there of her confessing that this happened, but she's backpedaling. These are the kind of scandals that follow your man of God and your God of men in Nigeria. You might want to pay attention. Anyway, so according to Ashekun, who spent nearly 20 years in the church and served as a minister, Olukoya does not sue. Okay, I already read that. Despite our repeated petition to the Nigerian police, the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, and other authorities, Ashekun claims that no action has been taken. She also noted that even the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu is a member of MFM, raising concerns about impartiality in addressing this allegation. You can forget that's not going to happen. There's no addressing these allegations. Bagbe Ashekun revealed that Olukoya avoids directly involving in lawsuit, but instead uses pastors, particularly those transferred from Nigeria, to sue on his behalf. She stated that some of these pastors are not real ministers, but rather missionaries placed to execute his directives. She further revealed that when she attempted to represent herself in court, Olukoya had 4 lawyers against her, despite not being listed as a plaintiff. Ultimately, she was fined $50,000, but remained determined to continue her advocacy. Beyond legal intimidation, Ashekun has accused Olukoya of severe misconduct, including sexual abuse, blackmail. She actually showed a video. I'm not going to show that video here, on the floor of what seems to have been Olukoya's office, where a young lady was completely in her underwear, and they go to some kind of place called the Corridor for Deliverance and stuff like that. All I can say is that it's only God who knows who is worshiping. You better have a personal relationship with God if you care that much. If you don't, if you are going through other human beings, I don't know. Anyway, let me read a little bit more and then we'll get to some other stories. Okay, what time is it? 5:20. Okay, all right, good. Beyond legal intimidation, Ashekun further claimed that Olukoya possesses hidden recording devices disguised as everyday objects used to capture this incident secretly. She stated, I'm reading from SaharaReporters.com. She stated that a former associate identified as Akweji admitted on her show that he was involved in procuring women for Olukoya and confirmed that some of the videos were forwarded to third parties. Okay, so who is Akeji? This guy, okay, not Akweji apparently, AKP. Akweji is a young guy who has been talking quite a bit too. So let me see what he's saying.
I could not attend the program.
This guy right here.
I like you that you are both you are doing. People all went to one harvest. The video is still with me. come out. Shemilo Isiba, I dare you. Leave all those one. I praise him. I praise the Lord, yes, because he did something to the community. And one the academy were saying, Yorùbá sọ pé ibi tí yàn ti ń ṣe yàn ti ń jẹ. If I eat money from the academy, it's my head, my brain. I used to drop the academy, the picture. And at least you collected it.
Anyway, so that's the person called Akweji. So this is the lady that's giving the report through Sahara Reporters, and I'm looking at Affection. Says she has more videos showing Olukoya's face. She said she will present those pieces of evidence in court. All right, very smart. If you have, because again, she can be sued again. She has to be ready, because he who alleges must prove, right? So she has to be ready to show more that won't get watered down by social media. Anyway, let me get back to this report. I just finished reading this, and then I'll see what you guys have to say about this. Me, I don't really have an opinion. Then make sure you have a personal relationship with God. If you are religious, if you so-called a faith-driven person, have your own personal relationship with God and get to know God. Lose everything you thought you knew about God that you were raised with. Do some studies and get to know your own God. Okay? All right, the scriptures, in my opinion, I use the scriptures all the time. The scriptures is solid, but you have to read it for your own understanding. Okay, and I'm not saying you should go and be reading like Daddy Freeze, like a literature. It's not in that way. Okay, I'm talking about just what you can apply to your own personal life. There's more than enough concepts in there that you don't have to go back to 2003 to see if there was a real stone or a real river somewhere. That order is not necessary. Okay, that's not the angle I'm asking you to read the scripture from. I'm talking about reading it just like you would understanding context. Okay, Ashekun further claimed that Olukoya possesses hidden. Okay, so she lamented the fear that prevents victims and media organizations from speaking out against Olukoya. She noted that those who attempt to expose him face relentless retaliation in the form of lawsuits. Ashekun emphasized that a church should be a place of refuge, but instead members of MFM have suffered in silence, enduring loss, sexual abuse, and broken families without any recourse. In fact, the Bisola lady who was tackling the late TB Joshua ministries, she was saying that a lot of those kids that were singing in those songs, a lot of those kids are being manipulated, you know. But hey, who are us? We're just watching from the sides, right? Anyway, she called on Christian organizations, law enforcement agencies, and the Nigerian government to launch an independent investigation into these serious allegations to ensure justice and accountability. I personally feel like our biggest point of leverage is educating and empowering people. That's what I feel. The idea that people that have power are going to give you power, forget it. Okay, the people need to take the power. That's the only way it works. Anything else is not sustainable, because there's always going to be the gullible of the society. And depending on how much poverty we're talking about, it should depend on the level that we're talking about, right? So she said, I have sent petitions to the Nigerian police, the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, and other authorities regarding Olukoya's activities, but no action has been taken. A church should be a place of refuge, but in Olukoya's case, members suffer in silence. Olukoya doesn't sue for justice. The ironic thing is, and I quote, the ironic thing is, in all these lawsuits, Olukoya is never listed as plaintiff. He avoids putting himself directly in the cases because he has structures in place. Instead, he uses pastors, especially those he transferred from Nigeria, to file lawsuits on his behalf. Imagine pastors in the US, pastors I don't even know, suing me. The first lawsuit had 6 plaintiffs coming after me. They won because at some point I could no longer afford my lawyer. Sheesh. Aside from the relentless legal costs, this is why you need to empower people, because again, if you don't have evidence,
You go explain because no evidence.
you go explain no. You go explain no if you don't have evidence. Okay. See, I know that there are victims of super powerful people, particularly people that poses to be holier than thou, especially them. Okay, because it's the easiest. They find it the easiest to gather mumus, and I'm not saying Olukoya is that. I'm just telling you how mankind works. Okay, so I don't know. That's why I said if you don't be a victim and then you end up filing lawsuit or somebody sues you and you have no evidence. Instead, wherever you are today, I'm sorry, whatever you've gone through, empower yourself. Empower yourself. Beyond that, I don't know, maybe it might be too late for somebody. Empower your children. Empower your children when it comes to self-esteem, when it comes to self-confidence, when it comes to education, when it comes to not being so gullible to people, because it's very easy. All I have to say literally is Jesus, and I can gather a bunch of mumus, not because of Jesus, because that's just how the human brain works. Okay, all I have to say is I see blood on top of your building and you cannot travel for the next 7 years, and there's more than enough mumus that will listen to what I just said, even if I didn't receive from anywhere. So imagine, if we know that we live in a dangerous world, how many people will actually take advantage of that? Just imagine that, right? So again, I'm not saying that's OLUKOYA. What I'm saying is, if you don't have evidence and you don't empower yourself today, there's no guarantee. Or the systems are systems for a reason. They are not perfect. So you need evidence. Okay, and some of this type of allegations is very hard to come up with evidence, because after all, you're not going to be walking around with cameras. Okay, but, and I quote, but OLUKOYA has been suing by proxy, using pastors to do his dirty work. This is the video right here. Let's see if I can play a little bit of this. Let me see here.
And you can hear Akpeji came out last week because Akpeji was one of OLUKOYA's agents. Akpeji was pimping things.
Okay. Anyway, I can't hear that video. Let's see here. Can we hear this?
Even included your daughter. Have you forgotten? Later I'll post your charts. You think I don't have those things with me? How about the money, 250,000, everything you found in your daughter's phone, and you said that's why you came out, because you wanted to start with your child, with your daughter again. Have you forgotten? You know somebody wants to molest your daughter, and you are still cooperating with him because of what you see that you are very shameless. How shameless can you be? How dirty can you be, Debbie? Yeah, it's
So there's if you go follow the story, there's another lady called Debbie. Honestly, I haven't gotten the full details. I just wanted to use this opportunity to say, please empower yourself, empower your children. All right, let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Let me see. Mario says, Wahala, is this a court in Nigeria? I hope not. No, it's here. But in Nigeria, it's actually worse for them. There were people there are stories on YouTube of people, I think they said about 9 people that were locked up for years because this guy actually won lawsuits against them in Nigeria. So if somebody keeps going back to court every time they're the one attracting lawsuits, or they keep filing lawsuits, and they're supposed to be a powerful person, you know, in big corporates, they do have retainers. They have big retainers. They have law departments that, you know, they monitor when they attract lawsuits, because when you are big, you attract lawsuits. Not that you are instigating or initiating the lawsuit to yourself. If somebody is so big and they're initiating the lawsuits by themselves or using their minions, that is a red flag. Maya says, churches and other religious bodies worldwide are difficult to bring to account. It is the nature of the community. Exactly. Yep. So empower yourself. If you are a victim of a religious body, Scientologists is another place here where they have things like that. If you're a victim of that and you come out and say you're a victim, good luck, you know. But here's why I'll tell you where you don't really need much luck. I mean, as in, like, you will need luck always, but the luck will tend to fall in your favor when you empower yourself. Do you understand? Like, you get more lucky and luckier and luckier and luckier and luckier when you empower yourself. Okay? If you are vulnerable to poverty or an environment where it's ridden with poverty, it gets worse. Because no matter how educated you are still subjected to your surrounding. I know too many intelligent, smart, educated people that follow these people very blindly. Okay, and they have reasons, and I can't judge them. They've seen things, so they have to follow something. So I don't know what to tell you. I'm just talking to you that you're listening to this. And listen, if you think you're just going to file lawsuits against churches and religious bodies or people, that empower yourself, please. Okay, that's the only thing I can hand you here today. This is the first time I've heard of this. Mario says, oh yeah, go check Sahara Reporters. You know, they're probably going to suppress it. Also, Omoyele is not getting involved too much because I think he won a lawsuit against OLUKOYA in the past. I'm not sure how that went, but just let me know your thoughts. We have some other trendy stories that we should cover today. I don't want to waste too much time on this. And I'll be right back.
It's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Me love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.
Welcome back. All right, so there's some updates, some Natasha updates here. Chia, what's going on? Welcome to Marriott Epsiba. I see you guys. Affection, welcome. All right, me too. I'm hearing for this one. It's on Sahara Reporters on YouTube. They are dragging them on YouTube right now as we speak. If you Google it, to come up. Well, this song is that song was the more reason why I decided. But let's talk about Natasha and Nwaebonyi. There's an update here.
Harassment.
Accused of mockery of harassment during the time of Goodluck Jonathan as president.
You remember that guy? You remember this guy?
When the young man was already.
You remember this guy?
Which other persons is she accused of harassment?
They ask him what other persons did she accuse, right? Well, he's attracted a 5 billion naira lawsuit from the Senator Natasha Akpoti Uduaghan, who represents Kogi Central. Senator Onyekachi Nwaebonyi of Mbonyi North has attracted a 5 billion naira lawsuit over alleged defamation. The suit was filed by her lawyer, Michael Jonathan Numa, at the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory. All right. And in the suit, Senator Akpoti Uduaghan urged the court to declare the statements made by Senator Nwaebonyi during an interview on Channels Television on March 6, 2025 were false and malicious. She alleged that Nwaebonyi referred to her as a gold digger, habitual liar, and habitual blackmailer during the interview. Additionally, Akpoti Uduaghan asked the court to rule that the claim she is a mother of 6 from different men, well, different men can be 2 different men, is false, malicious, and defamatory. She contended that Nwaebonyi's remarks had severely damaged her reputation and caused her considerable embarrassment in the eye of the public. Let's listen to some of the defamation.
Accused of mockery of harassment during the time of Goodluck Jonathan as president, when the young man was already in US attending to national issue. But of unlucky to her, she didn't know that this young man was outside the country. Upon the slightest provocation, she will come up with allegation of harassment. And I don't know what is wrong with this lady. Does she think that she's the most beautiful woman on earth? Is it because she's had chocolate color?
Ha!
In my own assessment, she's not among the beautiful women in Nigeria. And it is high time we come hard on her. And why people like us are speaking on top of our voice is not just to protect and defend the Senate president, but to protect and defend her future victims. Even her present husband, she married her out of something like this. She threatened to sue the man. I have a letter circulating over the world that the man should pay her 10 billion or marry her. The man.
Which other persons is she?
Have you noticed that there's no allegedly in anything they're saying?
To marry her under duress.
Under duress. Have you noticed there's no allegedly in anything he's saying? He's just saying, he said there was a letter that's floating around.
So the marriage was under duress. Another product of blackmail.
You remember that from the very first day I covered this, I knew this was going to be a thing. So I covered this old letter thing on that day. I said, well, there's this letter out there. It is what it is, you know. That looks like she might have blackmailed a whole human being into marrying her. Now, you, as a very powerful person, that I Chief Uduaga was blackmailed in Nigeria, a very powerful guy. Like, no, there's more to the story. Where's the rest of the story? So, if I were a senator, before I repeat that line or even try to make that a news, I would be careful because I have a lot to lose, obviously. Unless, of course, I don't have any sense of intelligence, which obviously this guy doesn't. But let's keep going.
I was watching a video of how the wife, the father of the first wife of the husband, narrated her ordeal when this lady came into their family, destabilized their family.
So the ex-father-in-law of I Chief Uduaga was talking about the ordeal of his daughter, who was the original wife of Uduaga, and that's what he took away as fact, and he started to repeat it on national TV. So it's attracted a 5 billion naira. It's not a big deal to attract 5 billion naira lawsuit for this kind of people, by the way. At least as of now, they don't see it as a big deal. It's just another lawsuit.
And took over her husband.
All right.
And without going into her character, I asked Natasha how many husbands has she had in her life?
Hey!
At the age of 47 or 45. I had to marry her.
At the age of 47 or 45. He knew exactly what he was doing, so I hope he has the resources in place to fight this lawsuits.
Under duress. So the marriage was under duress. Another product of blackmail. I was watching a video.
All right, so I just want to see. Shout out to the Momo 5. Say now, so Senator Red Cap wife marry him under duress. I didn't even realize I said this. Under duress, this is not. Oh Lord. I know Chinye will want me to play that, so let me just go ahead and play it. Jejely. Just so I see you don't come and hold my neck later on.
Got him! Got him!
Under duress, this nuts. Just 1 year salary and allowances Nigerian pays him. I meant to say that he's lying. Or is a lying ass. Okay, he thinks he can just come and spew garbage. Well, let me see what they're saying in the comments. You know, the comments, if you want to catch crews in Nigerian content spaces, just go in the comments. That's where it's at, okay? Not us, the content creator, no, forget. The real content creators are the commenters, okay? Someone said whether you like it or not, or like her or not, she won't be forgotten easily in the political history of brave women in Nigeria. Right, you know, part of the update is that she was also, there's a lawsuit, no, not lawsuit, the courts have ordered her and Akpabio, who was not talking in the first place, to keep short on the case. They're not allowed to talk about it in public anymore, which is fine. You know, I think the Nigerian social media place will carry on the rest of the story. Natasha, strong supporters come forward. Married. Okay, let me see if there's anything. Natasha is the prayers of Nigerian youth. Government against government. Joy comes in the morning. All right. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. Yeah, I'm looking for something negative. I know. Bad me, right? Someone said you can't fight the system, Natasha, because you will never win. This is a leadership 101 rule. Well, it depends. Okay, I understand what he's talking about. It's actually more like power 101, that you can't really face your superior. You have the key thing that, again, there's a lot of people that read the 48 laws of power with their ass open out, inside out. You can't do that. It's not just as simple as reading. You also have to sit with it, have some experience in life, fail sometimes in life, and then continue to study. Okay, the point of that is you have to be careful if you're going to do that. Obviously, nothing is written, no rule is written in stone forever. Okay, it depends on context. There's so many things going on. Anyway, this woman, not the real FOK, around and find out. F around and find out. Okay, that's a radio guy in Nigeria. All right, so I think she knows what she's doing. Again, she knows exactly what she's doing. The idea here is not to just win. Or no, what do you mean by winning? That's not the idea. You can't win. Win what? Candy? No, it's sometimes you have to drag situations by the blockers to make a point. And in the process is when you elevate yourself. Sometimes it's just the clout. Yes, I said it. Yes, Put your name out there. Put yourself out there. Get some bruises on yourself sometimes. Don't play. You play it so safe. All you can think of is win and lose. And that's how you effectively become a loser. No, it's not about what do you mean by winning. It's about winning, but what do you mean by winning? Right? That they will just hand out, that Akpabio will say, okay, I'm sorry. Is that what you mean by winning? No, nobody's expecting that. There's no wise person expecting that, especially when power is involved. Okay? Think a little bit deeper. It's a lot more than that. There's more to it than that. This guy just wants name recognition. He won't let everyone rest. Any one of them, you know, that's part of the game that Nwaebonyi is playing too. So that's why you see me sometimes make the best player win. Like, what do you mean by winning though? Because some of you are thinking winning one day, the powers that be will just surrender powers to the oppressed in Nigeria. That's never going to happen. That's never going to happen. Take that, know that, and know peace. I beg, I beg. All right, so in the meanwhile, we'll continue to cover it. Somebody said no audio. I think she started from the beginning. Bumi, sure. In the beginning, I was muted for like a few split seconds. All right, so yeah, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? I think Natasha Apoti is going to be quiet a little bit. You know why? Because there's going to be more news, other types of news that will come out. You know, so be it. That's fine. You know, there's going to be more news, other news around the world that will come out. You know, Nigeria, especially Nigeria, is relentless. You know, they're going to be more stuff coming out. But let me know what your thoughts are about this. 5 billion naira. You know, I think somebody said, yeah, it was somebody said pick your, like, pick one fight at a time. Like, what do you mean pick one fight at a time? It's just a lot of people that don't understand how these things work that are making comments on them. So we'll leave that at that. I'm just going to leave that at that. We have some other stories, and I'll be right back. Yeah, yo.
Girl, it's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Me love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen.
You know, you
one love enough, we done enough.
you know, you
All right, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. So we are going to bring Davido to the screen. Davido, our own dear Davido, is gonna come to the screen. We're gonna pull him to the pulpit. So it's Davido versus the woke on family. Davido versus the woke on family. Let's talk about it. All right. Mario says their business. Nigeria, we're here to mind their business, but to extract lessons from it. Let's do that with Davido real quick. Let me play this. This is Davido was on the Breakfast Club today. The Breakfast Club is a big radio platform here in the East Coast part of United States. So with the Charlemagne and them. So Davido was on there. Davido is now a regular up there. It's a big deal anytime Davido goes there. So let's listen to this.
You have been through a lot personally, especially with loss. What kept you grounded through
My
that
family,
grief?
man.
What keeps Davido grounded? Family. Oh. We're gonna talk a little bit about this today. Family keeps him grounded. That's something that in this time and age is we don't like it. Okay, today I'm gonna preach to you today. Okay, family is everything. Okay. But wait, let's just hear Davido first, okay?
My family, because you know, my family is very big, right? And what I noticed was that, you know what I'm saying, you know, you grew up in a family since you were a kid. Like I've always been the youngest around. Oh, that's little David, and then I blew up, obviously, and then I know how many times I'll be so busy, like out of it, and then like even got to a point where like I'd be like my siblings were getting upset, like, yo, D, we still your family, like. You know what I'm saying? Call, talk to your nephews, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then when my world went dark, they was the only ones there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Every day, obviously, my wife and her family were there. But the only thing that got us, and we both strong. Like,
Hey.
me and my wife is strong. Like, but apart from that, the people around us that were there at the time, you know what I'm saying, really did a great job. And I want to give kudos to my father.
All right, so Davido is saying family, 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 right? There's a whole big topic around this whole thing called family these days, and sometimes they show up in different form shapes. They show up in there. This same conversation keeps showing up right here. Now, obviously, everybody came from a family, so you always have a family, right? I hope so. You always have a family, but it's very easy. See, when you are a very smart, intelligent, educated, a powerful person, and the whole world basically falls to your knees, it's very easy to actually forget about family, you know. But he's still saying something here. Let him keep going.
Father, you know, like my dad really stepped in. Like, he put everything on pause, like the business.
You know, you have been through a lot.
Everything on pause just to make sure that, you know what I'm saying, we're okay. You know what I'm saying? And we got twins now, so it's like,
That's a blessing.
it's lit, a boy and a girl. And the boy looks exactly like my son that passed, like scary, exactly. They act the same, everything he used to do, like he does. So like me and my wife, we be like, yeah, he came back type stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like he came back type stuff. Now, that's good. Now, Davido's voice seems quite clear in this interview. Like, maybe, hopefully, he slowed down a little bit on the smoking, because at one point, when Davido is talking, you could barely hear him, right? So, I don't know. Let's keep going.
When you, I know you're a spiritual person too, so it's like your faith and your family, is that what carries you, or do you ever just...
No, my fault, no. He said family. He didn't say faith. But maybe there's faith.
sit with the pain sometimes, like just...
I mean, it depends on what you like faith. Some people's faith are stronger. Like me, I believe in God fully.
Absolutely.
Like my dad, we grew up 7-day Adventists. Like Saturday, going to church Saturday, doing the Sabbath, 6 o'clock, no TV, no earrings. That's how I grew up.
No earrings, no TV. Wow. So 7-day Adventists like that, I didn't know. I thought that was just Deeper Life, but and my church that I grew up in. My teenage years, all Christian fellowship. I thought it was just that. But anyway, 7-day Adventists, no earrings. Oh. Anyway, he said he believes in God all the way type stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Like with my father. Then my other siblings, they go to like Methodist church, normal Catholic stuff and like that. But with my faith, stuff like that, if you don't have faith after that, I don't know what faith is. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
But with me, like I'm a Christian, you know what I'm saying? But I don't really have like this, everything on pause. Just
He's
to
a
make
Christian?
Sure that a certain church or a certain pastor. That, like, you know, talk to anybody.
Wait, what about Pastor Toby? That's your pastor now. What happened? Pastor Toby is his pastor, no? What happened to that part of pastoring? He said he doesn't have a pastor. It's okay. Non-denomination, right? Type stuff. Can still smoke weed every now and then type stuff, you know? It's okay. Seems like he's doing good. Let's keep going.
And when you talk about how you had to go on the road when Unavailable started popping, do you ever feel like fame and celebrity get in the way of like really healing?
Definitely. Like I could see sometimes like I was like kind of, I wouldn't say healing too fast, but like I'm on the road. Like you have to understand, like my wife at home chilling. Like she comes 1 or 2 shows, you know what I'm saying, go back. But see me, I'm on the road. My adrenaline is pumping. I'm seeing in a week, I'm seeing $1 million. Like I'm seeing all the crowd.
He's seen $1 million in a week. All the crowds, right?
In the car, they chasing us. So it's like you're smiling, but it's like you need to
lost the
kind
sun.
of slow down. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying? That's why things like me getting married.
Know what I'm
You know what I'm
saying?
saying? Like, okay,
Know what I'm
look,
saying?
this is how we got lit last time, and you know what I'm saying?
Know what I'm
Forgot
saying?
about family, so you know what I'm saying?
Forgot your family because you're doing so well. $1 million, maybe yours is just $100 per week. You forgot your family. After all, you're the king, you're the queen. You got it all figured out. You can do all bad all by yourself. What do you need family for? We don't say like that sometimes. Sometimes you say, what is the usefulness of men? Because exactly no. Sometimes that's how you say it. Sometimes you're like, well, I don't need no children. Well, sometimes you say it in different shapes or forms, by the way. It is true. You don't need any one of those things, but I beg you in the name of God, you do need family. This life go show some people share gay. They won't hear until they hear. Oh, you do need family, okay? So at least you came from a family. Value your family. He's gonna say something now. I think he said it already. I'm not sure, but let's play.
Slow down a bit. You know what I'm saying? I told my boys, like, look, I need to go to a certain church or take care of home real quick. You know what I'm saying? So gotta move my wife to Atlanta.
Okay.
Everybody, the kids.
Moved his wife to Atlanta. He didn't say, this woman, if I move her to Atlanta with all this wedding thing we just did and she's living with me, I'm taking care of her. There's a track record of all this money I wired to her. Birkin bags, all this big gift. And then if something happens to our marriage tomorrow, what if she go and file a lawsuit? And then we're dragging each other out to custody all the time. He won't say that because Davido is a man in love. He's a finished man, right? So of course he's in love right now. And that's healthy. Oh, believe it or not, that's actually healthy. Like, he's in love. So he's not thinking about the worst case scenario like some of the men that we have on social media today say, don't move out to America. What did he do? He said, I'm moving you and your mother to Atlanta. Family. You know, if something happened to that marriage, you know it's still family, right? Oh, you didn't know that. You thought it was about marriage. No, it's not about marriage.
Got a crib, you know what I'm saying? So I just be home. This is prior to doing 5, you know what I'm saying? After the tour was done, you know what I'm saying? We got married. Her mom flew her mom to America to be with her, with the kids and everything. So like, I just be chilling like at the crib. And it's like, I'm like, yo, this is not bad. Like, sometimes
He's at the crib, he's chilling. It's like, this is not bad. Trust me, that's a real feeling. I know, because I was that guy. Okay, I wasn't Davido, but I was that guy. Okay, when you finally get it out of your system and you come home, if you're lucky to have that kind of second chance or a third chance or fourth chance, right? There's nothing like home. There's nothing like home. Somebody's like, no, once a cheater, always a cheater. Am I counting on Davido? No. I don't know him like that. I'm just giving you, it's very possible. What he's describing is very possible. Home sweet home, especially if you have been humbled in this life. See, sometimes if you have not been humbled in this life, there might be a disconnect there, you know. But let me see here. Okay, I took my time on that. So you can't bring Pastor Toby right now. Not yet. They've been through the worst in Nigeria, and we'll see how Chioma handled it. So moving her abroad won't be an exception. Yep. Once a cheater is not always a cheater. Jum, you know better. You know better. Anybody who is here knows better anyway. But let's keep going.
So I'm like, yo, it was so crazy that after I now sat for so long, like, I was having anxiety. Like, my boys like, let's go out. I'm like, we'll go out. Envy, I'm telling you, we'll go back home.
You go out.
We'll go out with lit.
Knocked out.
I'm like,
9 p.m. at bedtime.
Take your home real quick. You know what I'm saying? So,
but you know, home front has to be peaceful as well, ladies. The home front has to actually be that type of environment as well. Okay. So, but if it's peaceful like that at home, trust me, there's nothing out in the street, especially not nowadays. But he said something that I think I missed earlier. He said family will call and say, hey, your nephews, your nieces, they're calling, don't forget them. And it took him a while sometimes to forget them, you know. Probably similar to what Ashake is going through right now. He feels like he doesn't need his family. You will go through a phase like that where you feel like the only thing you can remember is how your family have offended you or how they get in your way or but you're going to get into a phase where you will need your family. I said the same thing about what's the name of this guy that moved away from his family in London, the Prince Harry, right? Especially if you move because of a woman, you got to be careful with that. Don't make your woman compete with your family. You need to sort that out, clean that up. Don't just discard you're going to get into a phase in life you will need family. This is also true for the ladies. Do not allow a man to, because you guys are in love, you elope. Eloping is usually a bad idea. Okay, so I'm not saying some people have not done it successfully, but I completely discourage any idea of eloping. It's a bad idea. Okay, So Manuel is in there throwing shade at Davido. May God help you. Said after 5 children, it's time to rest. 5 children is a blessing. Come home and chop. That one will collect in our lifetime. We'll see. I see humbled. Today, Two-Face was singing I'm a Toto mechanic. Anyway, let's leave that alone for now. I'm not gonna cover that. But what do you guys think? Family is everything. I have another family story I want to get into real quick to continue this. But this is Davido versus the woke. The woke, they don't think there's a need for family anymore. We are all going to get into a phase in our lives where we need our family. If you don't want to create a family, make sure you keep your family, your nephews, your nieces, all those kind of. You're gonna need all those kind of elements around, right? By the time you're 60, 70, you need to have had a good couple of decades, good relationship with your family. Okay, so don't ever forget that. As simple as it sounds, when people have a little bit small money, it gets in their head, okay, and they forget. So maybe today is the day you should remember that. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. I have some other trendy stories. I'll be right back.
Girl, it's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Make love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.
All right, welcome back. Let's talk about Iyabo. I think we covered this a few days ago. Some other aspect of it, I'm not sure. I don't remember. But Iyabo and Oga Paulo's marriage blueprint. Let's talk about that. They have a blueprint. So we're still talking about family, right? Shout out to Iyabo. Shout out to her daughter who is getting in the middle of a whole series of events, celebrations of getting married to, what's his name? Jukes, the kid from Tanzania, right? All right, so shout out to them. Pretty young too. Oh, she's young, but that ninja should be about 35 or so. So may God bless their marriage. But let's see what Iyabo has to share with us with regards to her blueprint for this thing called romantic love, right? Let's hear it.
Such a workaholic.
Okay. Partner,
Just like we are lying.
please explain to us that relationship. Because I will come to Paulo in a second, but that, because we understand why it's relationship. She's the partnership. Partner, they come in, they go for weekend.
She travels.
Yeah, they travel together. They know each other's in-laws.
Every weekend.
So how is it with you? Do you guys have days you come to each other where you have days?
Okay, so for me, because of the way I work,
Yeah.
I'm such a workaholic.
Okay.
And he's also a workaholic.
Yeah.
That's Igbo man. He likes to work. For me, there are times I just want to be alone.
Yeah.
There are times that she just wants to what? She wants to be alone. Somebody say, wait, what? Why are you getting married? Well, by the way, she's not married. But they say that to people that they are married. Oh, by the way, as married people, sometimes we do like to be alone too. Just FYI. Yeah. That's why we have man cave. Okay. You guys think this is my studio. This is actually us. It's a big old open space. It's also my man cave, you know. And she has her own little corner too. So sometimes, yeah, even married people, this is not just, but she has a plan that she's going to share with us. Let's keep going.
So if I want to be alone, I pack my bag.
Pack your bag?
I go my house. Okay, baby, bye-bye.
No quarrel.
Yes. No
because
quarrel.
he knows, he understands that. I can tell him I'll see you in 5 days. Okay. And then maybe after 3 days, I can appear again.
Wait till, that's a very important part there, right? She said, I can tell you I'll see you in 5 days. But then in 3 days.
Babe, I go my house. Okay, baby, bye-bye.
No quarrel.
No quarrel. Because he knows, he understands that. I can tell him I'll see you in 5 days. And then maybe after 3 days, I can appear again.
Wait till, why? You said 5 days though. And as a matter of fact, you know, if life was happening and you're so busy, that should easily turn to 7 days, especially as Auntie Iyabo. That should easily turn to maybe even 10 days, right? But she said, in 3 days, oh, I cannot like, hello. That means she can knock and say, I'm back. What do you think is going on there? But wait, let's continue.
And sometimes I'll take my 5 days. It depends on how busy, or even add 2 extra days. But we
there you go.
That. Because you understand, because even though we might not be together in the same place, we communicate a lot. And him also, we pack his bag and say, baby, like last year, baby, I know they're around for like 7-8 months though. I did go work. You know, so I get my container for this, I get London this, because he has businesses in Dubai, London, and America. And I have to go. Bye-bye. But anytime there's an open ticket for me.
Yes, you can always be like,
Somebody said open ticket. What do you mean? Is that some type of open marriage or something? What does this mean exactly? What I mean by open ticket? Does that mean you can knock on my door randomly whenever you feel like it and just come over without letting me know you're on your way home? What are we talking about here? What do you mean open ticket? Maybe she'll tell us more. Let's keep going. Everybody smile. They're so happy to hear that. T. They love it. Fantasies. Sounds like what? Sounds like freedom. You can just go and come as you will. By the way, gentlemen, women love to go and come as they will, right? And you have to allow them to do that. Now, I don't mean leaving your house completely and gone to God knows where and then coming. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just saying in general, they like to go and come as they will. And if you overreact to that, or you don't know how to handle that, yeah, you're going to end up alone. But let's keep going.
Even his birthday, I was supposed to fly, but I couldn't because of my movie promotion. But there's an open ticket anytime, any day. I can fly down to go and see him. And if I don't go, he understands that I'm busy.
What if he proposes to you? Will you marry him?
Stop. Pause. That's a good question, Murayo. Not so quick. Before we get to that question, let me come to the chat. Thank you, Marriott. I appreciate the reminder. This is your view, ladies. Amebo. They love gist too much, don't we? We love gist too now. I love gist. I love gist with my wife. Yeah. Good day, Mr. Dayo. Good to see you, Mr. Dayo. Jum says, at this our age and our man's age, companionship is great, especially they've had decades of their lives and achievements apart. Are you saying companionship is not great when you're 21, 22, 23? What do you mean? What's her name? What's the name of the daughter? I forgot her name now. I did a whole show here on her. Anyway, Iyabo Joe's daughter, right? And Jukes, right? Are you saying Prissy, right? Priscilla. Yeah, Priscilla. Are you saying that Priscilla doesn't need companionship? Instead, she needs marriage? And which one are you saying? Is it one or the other? Jim, help me out. Are you saying it's one or the other? Why can't you have two? Me, I like to have my cake and eat it too, by the way. Me personally, that's just how I'm built. Yes. What do you mean? I mean exactly what I mean. I like to have my cake and eat it too. I don't know if you've noticed. Oh, this is the interview. UB was not having it. UB, who's UB? Open ticket is not open marriage, oh. No, it's not. So what is it? You can open everything up now. You be open ticket ni. Yes, I'm back, bitches. Today's live show is very interesting. Matter of proceed, kudos. Shout out to you, Epsiba. Shout out to you. Yeah, so they asked a very, very important. Shout out to you, Latu. I see you, Latu. They asked a very, very important. Of course, Uncle Beno. Sorry, that should have been obvious. Uncle Beno, Jerry. So Uncle Beno said what? It was not having it, so he covered it, right? Which part wasn't it having? Explain. Anyway, is this an open ticket, open marriage, or is it partially open? What are we talking about here, right? I mean, it's just the paperwork that she doesn't want to do. She didn't tell us yet, but Morayo is asking. Shout out to the ladies of Your View and TVC. Morayo is asking a very important question. Let's go back a little bit.
Even his birthday, I was supposed to fly, but I couldn't because of my movie promotion. But there's an open ticket anytime, any day. I can fly down to go and see him. And if I don't go, he understands that I'm busy.
What if he proposes to you? Will you marry him?
We don't want marriage.
Wait, oh. That's not the question, though. What's the appropriate answer for that? That should be either yes or no, or you say yes or no and you explain. Or you explain first and give me a yes or no. That's not the question.
I'm busy.
But if he proposes to you, will you marry him?
If he proposes to you,
marriage.
would you marry
We
him?
don't-
Wait, we're talking to you, auntie. Wait, relax. If he proposes to you, would you marry him? You, if he comes randomly out of nowhere and proposes to you, would you marry him? Okay, this is the question. Auntie Iyabo should be about 48, 49, 50, or 55. Something like that. I don't know how old she is. Somewhere between 45 and 55. Right? So, at her age, she could make any choice that she wants. I get that. But this question is very simple. And she's on the show. And we want answers. Okay? The answer needs to be straightforward. All right.
Open ticket anytime, any day. I can fly down to go.
Open
and see
ticket.
him. And if I don't go, he understands that I'm busy.
But if he proposes to you,
of course she's busy. If she proposes to you, would you what?
will you marry him?
Will you marry
You don't
him?
want marriage.
No, there's only one type of question or two type of question answers you can get. If somebody get on their knees and they say, "Will you marry me?" Right? You can also say, "Will you keep quiet?" Is this a form of "Will you keep quiet"? Is she the one saying, I don't see myself with this guy for the long term? Because on a normal day, okay, most girl child, she is a girl child. There's a girl child somewhere in there. One day they would like the Prince Charm to say, "Will you marry me?" They can't wait for that. So what happened? Wait. Oh, it's time and age. She's somewhere between 45 and 55. So the answer is no longer straightforward. This life. This life will show you shaggy.
Sorry.
Simple question. We can't get a yes or no.
We just don't want marriage.
It's not we. Who doesn't want marriage? It's one person. There's one person that doesn't want marriage. There's only one person in control of this decision. What do you mean, Ola? Two people cannot agree? Yes, it's called agreement. After one person proposes something and the other person agree, it goes with one way first. Who is in control of this conversation? That's what I want to know. Who is in control? You say, Ola, you're nosy. Yes, I am. She's my auntie Iyabo, right? She's good people. I want to know. I want her to be protected. I want her to be covered. Okay? So I want to know if it's Oga Paulo that's not doing the needful. That's what I want to know. Because there's a way we do things. After all, our daughter, who is almost half of her age, is getting married. And they're doing all of the scenario. Okay, but she's older. She's had experience. Okay, that's exactly what I am saying. She's had experience. This life. The way this life, they chew us up. Anyhow, Sha. It's not fair. This life is not fair. Simple yes or no. You can't get a simple yes or no. The answer to that would definitely be a hell yeah. Tia said that will be a hell yeah. What do you mean? She will be super duper happy. Said, we don't want marriage. Wait. Tia, are you saying by any chance? Because I'm not going to be the one to say, are you saying that she's capping?
Stop the cap.
Is that what you're saying right now, Chinye? Because it's a simple yes or no. How come we're getting explanations? Let's continue.
That's another difference.
What's the difference?
There's difference.
You're already committed.
Take your bag and go for 6 months.
Because you see why
She can still do that. There's the young lady, Miss Sherry Lee Raff, the actress, American actress. She was in Nigeria not too long ago, at Ghana not too long ago. She was talking about, that she's been married for 25 years and they have 2 separate homes because somebody is in Hollywood and somebody is a senator in Pennsylvania, right? It's possible, and they work can create that, but to deliberately say, "Oh, we just don't want marriage." Yeah, I'm calling cap. I'm calling cap. Sorry. Let's see. She didn't answer the question. No, Marriott, she did not answer the question. She did not. She is so smitten by him. As long as they are happy, what is your own? Me, let me show you my face. I am the Bayfiller in this story. I want to know the answer to that question. You hear me? I want to know the answer to that question. What would you say if he proposed?
You're already committed. Take your bag and go for 6 months.
Because you see why
Take your bag and go for 6 months. Every woman who has ever been married will get through they will go through a phase. They fantasize about this idea that you can just pick your bag and just be gone for 6 months. Nobody is chasing after you, right? But why are they what phase are they going through that's making them fantasize about that? I'll let you be the judge of that.
I want that question. Let have a call. I want that question. Hello, good morning. Thanks for calling. You're live. Hello, good morning.
Good morning to the ladies.
Yes, good morning. Welcome to the show, sir. Go ahead, please.
I have been listening to you, and I want to say that it's like your view. You are emphasizing on the issue of breakup, separation, and all that.
The African man has entered the chat. He said you are emphasizing on the issue of breakup and what?
I don't think it's on the issue of breakup, separation.
Breakup and separations, you are emphasizing on it. You know how you say something silently to some people and suddenly they start to feel threatened that you're talking at them, or you're trying to encourage their worst nightmare. A man's worst nightmare is that he gets dumped by his wife. Tofeni Shuloka. Okay? Even if he hasn't been right by her. I'm sorry. I told you earlier, I like to have my cake and eat it too. Okay? So don't blame my brothers. That sound like that man already felt threatened. Let's see what else is going to say.
I don't think this is proper. What is the ideal will of God for whether you are a Christian?
What is the ideal will of God? Interesting.
Yeah, whether you are a Muslim, what is God's ideal purpose for marriage? Our forefathers, we never heard of divorce, separation.
Our forefathers, we never heard of divorce. These people are undefeated. I swear. First of all, our forefathers didn't need to divorce. It wasn't needed. Okay, our forefathers got dumped too, sometimes for the strongest man in the society, in the community. Sometimes they cover the shame. Sometimes they stole other people's wives after the person can't perform. They also committed all type of atrocities. You see, human beings are not your mates. Human being was not born yesterday. Our forefathers, they just didn't write it on paper. They also went through divorce. But let him continue.
Why? Today, we have allowed social media, internet, television,
and Iyabo
all this confusion into our midst. All that we are discussing. My mother never had all these problems.
That's your mother.
It didn't mean she was 100% happy.
She said, how's your mother? Wait, what? That's some shade.
My mother never had all these problems.
That's your mother.
Oh, she said, that's your mother. Even worse. She said, that's your mother, Ninja. That's your mother.
Everything I do,
she said, that's your mother. Your mama. Like, why are we talking about me and your mama in the same sentence? Crazy. Let's go.
She was 100% happy with my father. They had a way of settling things, and they were always together until they do them part. Even when they were not Christians. But today we claim to be Christians.
Your father was not violent.
Muslim.
She said, maybe your father was not violent. She's injecting something there. Say, hey, slow down. She's already told us now, right there, that she's experienced some type of violence. She's saying that already. Before we continue, so if a woman between 45-55 has been married before and suddenly she values companionship, it does not mean she does not value marriage, okay, or whatever we call marriage. Does not mean she does not value that, okay, but she will do everything in her power to not show you that, of course, because but she still value companionship. Doesn't mean she does not value marriage, but it's not that label. The label is not on the forefront for her. Now, why is it that any normal human being cannot really understand that? Because you need her to say violence first.
We are full of pride. That's why we cannot submit to our husband. Husband cannot
She said that's why we can't submit to our husband. Obsession.
love their wife as
By the way, ladies, make sure you're married to a person you can submit to. It's a beautiful thing, okay? But if you already conclude that you can't submit, trust me, there's a reason. It's not your decision. It's not a decision. You need to seek the help that you need, okay? If it's not safe, you're not going to submit. It's really that simple.
God expects. And so all you have is separation, and all that. And you're talking about the effect on children and all the rest of that. See, I expect you women to think of how we can go back to how our forefathers did this thing.
The Baba said, no, forget 2025. Through 2025. Let's go back to 1960. I could tell that that man right there that's talking is about 61.5 years old.
Problem.
I give you the floor.
Our society will be better off.
Thank you very much,
People
sir.
who brought up children are creating problems in our society. I don't have
I want to say something.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes. Okay.
Everybody wants to say something. Yeah, whatever. We're not going to shame our brothers. They're also speaking from a real place of pain. Okay? But we will correct them in love. Okay? First of all, if you have to ask for submission, Baba.
Everything I do, I will.
Could it work? I'm sorry. Could it work? If you have to ask for submission, could it work? Something else is wrong at a deeper level, Baba. Women don't decide to submit. They naturally submit. Forget women. Even us. Okay? If you know somebody is responsible for food on your table, do you not submit? So leave that thing alone. If they can't, if they have no value that they bring to the table, of course you cannot submit. So this thing is so simple, it's complicated at the same time, you know. But everybody wants to say something. Before they say something, let me come to the chat. Uncle Dara says, I'm sure if Paulo is on the hot seat to answer the same question, the answer will be different. It might even be the same. He might even try to protect her, but it will still be cap.
Stop the cap.
Whatever answer he gives will still be cap. Because Paulo is a good guy. I've seen just from this on the screens, right, that he will do anything to protect her. They love each other, but it looks like they're coming from a special place. So we must give them time. When they both go past their hurts from their previous marriage, they will agree to marry. Every woman at some point is going to they're going to need that security. It's just, you know, if they're healthy, they're gonna need that sense of security. Somebody said, but is it not paper? Yeah, just like we create ceremonies out of everything, we make it official, right? Even something as stupid and simple as green card, as stupid as simple as a driver license, as stupid as simple as your business, we put ceremony behind them. We get certificates. As simple as the certification at your job. How much more your whole life? Trust me. Just trust me. Every normal human being, there's a reason why the thing is so popular for all these centuries. It is not you that will change it. There are exceptions to every rule, of course. Also, their business encourages companionship because of constant traveling. So it encourages them to be free to do whatever they want. Is that what you're saying? Is this an open marriage, Jim Jim? I think Jim Jim is trying to tell something. Is this an open marriage? Is that what we're talking about here? I'll take Iyabo's relationship over the marriages the other women have described on that show in the past. What other women? Them? The host of the show? Oh, because trust me, okay? Human beings. Companionship, there's no rules. There's no rules to obey. You know? There's a reason why a person is saying, go, or it must be companionship, not marriage. There's a reason. Trust me, it's not a good reason. I just want to guarantee you that just trust. On the surface, it sounds good. It sounds like freedom. But as you know, freedom is not always what most people consider to be freedom is actually not good. Okay, freedom is in reality is the freedom to do the right thing, not freedom to do anyhow. That's not what you want, because remember, other human beings are involved. If you give people the freedom to do anyhow, yourself at some point, so when we do it, you go collect. You thought that's what you wanted until you find out that we do. Trust me, that's not what you want. But let's keep going. So whatever it looks like when people are within the confinement of marriage, yeah, companionship, you can't compare the two because there's nothing on the other one. Marriage is actually something that you can work on. You actually have something you can work on. Companionship, like, what is that? You know, and by the way, newsflash, a good marriage comes with companionship. And they say women are emotional. Bumi is dragging that man. Leave that man alone. He's also speaking from a special place. There's plenty divorce in my own culture. They just left. That's it. They just leave. They just leave. It's always been that way. You cannot tie human beings down. That's the other side of what I'm saying. So if you think you can use marriage certificates to tie people down, it can't happen. But that certificate represents it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Not only that it might sound like I'm forcing people to do it, somebody is going to feel a sense of lower security if they don't get it. At least one of them is going to feel that at some point, and they're going to ask for it, and you're going to be like, but we had this conversation. We never wanted this type of, we don't want to be tied. What do you don't want to be tied down, but you want an open ticket to come to Houston anytime? She
You doing what?
What do you mean? Somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's gonna get hurt. I know. See, the idea is that we don't want to get hurt, and we're using every dagger, every ammunition, we're pulling it out. Gen Z, the woke, so that we can protect ourselves. The best way to protect yourself is to work on yourself, so that you don't attract junk, nonsense from other past relationships. Okay, but somebody is going to ask for a ceremony and a certificate at some point. Something's gonna happen, and they're gonna be like, is it because they might not say it in those exact words, but there's a reason why people make things official. Just know that and know peace. See how Iyabo is looking like. What kind of lunatic is this? Let's ask the mother. Stories go full ground every day. Everyone submit, ignore all other verses in the chapter. Everyone submit. That's a fact. I told you. Everyone submits. Tiwa is on our way back to normalcy. Who is Tiwa? Who is Tiwa? That's how I confirm all the Christians demanding submission don't read the chapter in the Bible. All they focus on is what they heard. Let me tell you something. Even Pastor K has a twist on that. He said the submission was not for women. The part where they say submit, that it wasn't about marriage. But all that is, married me and you know, all that is semantics. We can just look around us and we see how life works, right? Short term, long term. Long term, somebody is going to ask for some type of black and white commitment. You see, that one thing you can't have is what somebody is going to ask for at some point. And it will shock you, right? It will shock you now. You'll be like, wait, we had this conversation. Why are you backpedaling? And that will be an effective argument in that relationship.
He shock you.
But I accept what Auntie Iyabo said. After all, we can't tell her what to do. Bumi is catching us. Say that comment is old. It's a matter of time. OP, heartbreak is imminent. Yeah. Time will tell. Time do tell, doesn't it? Right? Let me see if they say anything more. Remember, they want to talk to that uncle. Leave the uncle alone. The uncle that's asking for submission from strangers. Leave him alone. But let's hear what they have to say about that.
I do want to respond to him. So, number one, maybe he was lucky to have a father that was not violent. Mm-hmm. And so, obviously, if there are other things, because when you take violence away and you take, some emotional trauma away, neglect. So maybe you had a good dad. And we still have marriages who they are still together till tomorrow because either the two spouses are perfect for each other. So you cannot project that on other people. You cannot say a woman who's been battered day and night. Even some men get battered otherwise. Do you understand?
Now, to be, she's making some very, very good point. I think she has the right. She doesn't need to be asking for marriage from Paulo. It's Paulo's decision if he wants to marry or not. Okay, if he wants to step up as a man and do the needful, if you're going to take somebody's daughter, I don't care what age she is, at least she must make the offer. And by the way, she says she doesn't want to marry you. That's a telltale sign, Baba. She doesn't see you long term. Okay? All right? But this is actually Paulo's decision, not her decision. So if she said we don't want marriage, yes, I'm calling cap on that, but not necessarily.
Stop the cap.
Not her fault, okay? Not her fault, because it's actually the man's job to propose, right? At least based on the culture where I come from, and obviously Oga Paulo. So I'll just leave it at that. Maybe she could say something like, "Well, that's not up to me. Ask Oga Paulo when you see him." Now, a strong man will not take that as pressure. They say, I'll do the needful at the right time. A weak man will say, just squeeze their face like this. But anyway, the point here is that it's okay that she says whatever she wants. She's the lady. She doesn't need to make an decision here, but I'm calling cap on it. And it's to me, they don't have to rush anything. Okay, they don't have to rush anything. If they're not sure yet, if Oga Paulo is not sure yet, that's perfectly fine. But it's not sure yet. But at some point, people want to lock in. Somebody said, "Well, what about Oprah?" What?
Stop the cap.
Do you have an Oprah in your family? Why are we talking about Oprah? I'm sorry. Oprah Bitibao. Kill me. Would you advise your son to marry an Oprah? What kind of question is that? There's nothing wrong with Oprah, but that's a special situation. Don't bring that up into what we're talking about here. All right. Let's see here. Let me come to the comment and finish that. I think I have one more story. Do I have one more story? I think so. Yeah. Please, with the accent. What accent am I speaking? Was I speaking a white girl accent? Don't shame my accent. Okay? It's not every time we will come and buy ourselves with makeup. Definitely, sis. My comment is about her reaction to the lunatic man. Yeah, I remember that. Oprah is never leaving Stedman or Gil. Yeah, exactly. So why are we bringing them up in this conversation? Marriott, you're wrong. That last two words is shade as usual. Marriott, your level of shade is... Another.
Wala, Nigeria don't report. Wala.
All right, so let's move on to the next story. Look at somebody who showed up. Good evening. Let's see what you people are talking about tonight. Look at you coming here like 3, 5, 6 months later and talk about what we're talking about. But welcome, my brother. Good to see you, gracious greatness. I'm laughing. Area agree telefona. Welcome. Let's move on to the next story. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. Let's talk about Ali Baba. Ali Baba. And I'll be right back.
Girl, it's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Make love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One loving up, we don't know.
About the comedian, Ali Baba, the comedian. Let's talk about him real quick. So Ali Baba has some interesting things to say with all this Senator Natasha Uduaghan stuff. So let's hear him out. If you don't know the story, Senator Natasha has been dragging Nigerian Senate since like a 1 month right now, since March 6th. And yeah, she's been doing a fantastic job dragging the Nigerian Senate. One thing she as a CEO type of things. They've done all kind of mishaps since then because they don't know what to do with themselves because there was an allegation of sexual harassment. She alleges that Senator Akpabio was trying to enter the pekus of another of his friend's wife. Who is his friend's wife? High Chief Uduaghan, who is also husband to Senator Natasha. And Senator Natasha is a colleague with Senator Akpabio, but Senator Akpabio presides over the Senate, right? So the Senate didn't know what to do with themselves. The first thing they did is, try to silence the whole situation. Even though court order says they must stop. They suspended her for 6 months, even though the rules say they cannot suspend for more than 14 days. But they've basically said to the rules of law. So here we are. So Alibaba has something to say about this, and let's listen in.
Do you even have a side? Okay, so for me, I had a side up to the point that she then watered down the strong support that I had for her.
She watered down the strong support that I had for her. Chill, relax. Don't overreact, okay? Relax, okay? I know we are on Natasha's side here, but relax. Somebody might not like Natasha and they might actually make sense. So let's get to it, okay? But because actually he was on her side first, but then that side got watered down.
She did not come out to refute the one that came out and said, oh, we're going into the Senate building. He requested to squeeze me and I allowed him.
Wait, what? Natasha said I allowed him to squeeze me? Interesting. Let's keep going. I think there's something to that effect, but not particularly like that. But all of us on this issue, we go explain time.
Explain.
All of us, I swear.
But he was taking longer than necessary.
Wait, it was taking longer than necessary to do what? To squeeze what? What was he squeezing?
I want to believe that was planted story, but she had not come out to refute that story either. The other thing is, put a stop to some of all these things, because when you don't put a stop to it, you're encouraging it.
Put a stop to it, because when you don't put a stop to it, you are encouraging it. Again, let me say this for the 58,000th time. When there's power dynamics, is if people workplace, there is often a blurry line here. But yes, if you could put a stop to it, put a stop to it. But from the context of what we're talking about, it sounds like it might be more complicated than that. But we should still encourage people. Yeah, put a stop to it. He makes sense, right? Let's keep going.
The first time that he was chairman at your wedding, from the first time that it looked like he was becoming,
So it was chairman at your wedding. From the first time that you felt that energy, that I think this one want to enter the Kwekus. You should do what? What is it saying?
Making inappropriate passes at you. Okay. Tell your husband to call him to order.
Okay.
They were friends, or they're friends. You call him to order and say please, don't.
Wait, so I'll go to my friend and say, hey, please, don't make passes at my friend. If you make pass at my wife, if I find out, first of all, I can't be friends with you. That's number one, if I find out. But may God help your face if you come any close to me ever. But it's described, please, don't make passes at my wife. Alibaba is just a soft talker. He's just trying to get us to get the point.
My wife.
My wife.
And if the husband was condoning it, there's an issue. Because
that's a good point. If the husband is condoning it, then the issue. What's the issue, Elder Alibaba?
Or is it that all this while she was not telling the husband that this is going on?
Yeah, I mean, what's all this while? Was that like 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years that she's been in the Senate, that she hasn't found the courage, because the key word is courage, to tell her husband that this is what I'm experiencing at work? How difficult could that be to find courage? After all, courage is everywhere. We can just pluck it off of the trees, right? Yeah, so why not? Like, he makes sense. Let's keep going.
Some would say it's very sensitive and it's hard. It's hard for a woman to tell her husband, especially in those early days, that your friend is making passes at me.
Now, she has also said that there was a time the husband asked her.
No, Alibaba is just trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together. There was a squeezing. I don't know what they were squeezing. Trust me, my heart is clean. Okay, there was a squeezing. There was a squeezing going on. Okay, but the squeezing we're talking about is sexual harassment by a superior. At least he's the presiding senator, right? And it's a workplace. And there's blurry lines because they go to events, they're family friends because the husband has allegedly collected a lot of contracts by way of Akpabio. Like they all know each other, politicians, big guys, high chief of Olu of Wari, all this kind of stuff, right? So Ali Baba is trying to get somewhere. Let's see, where is he going? Where is he going?
So what I think is when it comes to, because then you then have a place like, you then have all kinds of stories coming up, like the Remo story, where he said that she accused him.
Where he said, oh, Reno. We're bringing Reno's toasting into this conversation. Oh, God. God help me.
Hey! Quit! Hey! Quit! Hey! Quit! Get off of me, nigga!
Help me,
What's wrong with you, nigga?
Come on, where my glasses?
Get off of me before I drop your goofy ass again. Now beat that, bitch ass nigga. Pay for this shit. Hurry up.
No,
Pay for that shit and hurry up before I drop your ass again. Touch me, then I'm gonna drop
stop
you.
video before they help me. You got my key.
Quit touching
help
me,
you.
bitch.
No, come on.
The Reno story, I'm tired of it. Reno said, I did not toast you on that specific date. I toasted you on a different date because I was in America when I toasted you. It wasn't at that specific event. She said, okay, I'm sorry. You did not toast me on that specific date. In fact, she said nothing. All she said is she deleted the video. And Reno is talking about toasting. Reno made advances. I haven't seen, correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't seen where she said Reno sexually harassed her. He said, you wanted to enter these kwekus and I didn't give you access to these kwekus. That's all that she said about Reno. So why is Ali Baba bringing that in? I guess the same way everybody else brings it in. Same way Nwaebonyi bring it in, right? They will keep bringing it. It's okay. Okay. All right. I see a lot of people also see they think there's a blurry line between toasting and what is toasting? Advances. Okay. Let's just continue. He's making a point. I'm trying to see where he's going.
For him, he wasn't in town. If he were in town.
So, okay, he's bringing it up to basically illegitimize, to water down her claims, right? Because that's making me question a case that has not really gotten fair hearing. That's where it's getting at. Yeah.
The story would have been believable. When you then begin to dent.
Wait, I need to wait for Reno or Mokri to know that Akpabio tried to squeeze some butt. Why? I'm not Akpabio's judge. Why do we need to why all this now? By the way, I don't need Reno or Mokri's story before I know that Akpabio has probably squeezed somebody's butt. I didn't say not his wife. I'm just saying. Jesus Christ. This overanalysis go by somebody.
A good story that you have, you kill it for other people who have real true stories. Yeah.
Oh, he judged it already. You killed the story for other people that had real story. Forget your story. Your story is not real, right?
Yeah. There's a friend of mine.
Nigerian men don't like Natasha. It's obvious. Or they think it's like some marine water fine girl from the high places that's just there to destroy a powerful man. A lot of the pastors feel the same way about some of your daughters, by the way. If your daughter finds too much, problems.
Mine who would have been thrown out of his house in the US, in Houston.
This is the part where he applies empathy to the true stories. Never mind that when the true stories show up, we will scrutinize it before they get fair hearing too. Never mind all that. It's just say, like, let's show empathy to some real stories. This is not a real story.
Luckily, his friend had given him a wall clock that had a camera.
Hear the wall clock story.
Had a hidden camera.
A friend of his was kicked out of their house, and luckily there was a wall clock camera. Those exist, by the way. Some of you are on Amazon right now. They exist. Yeah, I need a wall clock in my house.
Giving the wall clock. And so when the thing was happening and the wife accused him of all of that and called the police on him and they threw him out, the friend now said, but I dashed you a wall clock that I said.
The friend, conveniently, the friend said, I dashed you a wall clock, remember? You got kicked out of your house. Remember I dashed you a wall clock? I think we have one more story I must cover today on this wall clock of an issue. Remember I dashed you a wall clock that time? Let's take it to court. That's evidence. VDM follower said, where's the evidence? Show us evidence. I have a wall clock. Oh, lo and behold. Oh yeah, I have a wall clock. Just conveniently in this Alibaba story, which I don't believe.
So the thing had a camera. So if you said it was at the this thing and she started the thing and poured hot water on you and slapped you and all that.
But it's not by the half. By the way, I have hands-on story of women doing that to men. I'm just saying this story is fabu. Women sometimes, a lot of times actually, get violent with their husbands. Okay, and cry wolf in court. So that's not what we're talking about today. But this story here, that's straight fabu.
Get the camera. So he managed to
get the camera. And the
get to the house and he needed to pick a few things. And she said, yes, you have a few minutes to pick the clock, pick the things that he needed to do. By the time he played the content of the
camera, the footage,
he was free.
Exonerated.
He was free, exonerated.
You have those.
What a fantastic Nollywood story. Just like wedding party.
Kind of things. So you didn't have cases where
someone come and tell us lies.
Total falsehood is sold to people.
Total falsehood.
What it does is it just kills other real stories.
Yeah. Wait, how would we find? I wonder how we're going to find out if those other stories are real. I wonder. I mean, maybe when they actually bring out the wall clock, put a wall clock in your house. That's the advice here.
Yeah. And every time somebody hears them, they don't mind.
It muddies the waters.
Exactly.
And legally, they say you have to prove beyond reasonable doubt. So what the opposition needs to do is to sow just reasonable doubt.
Exactly.
So you are killing your story.
So you're killing the story. You're making it look like.
See analysis.
So in that other.
English is a bastard. English language analysis.
Write-up that came out that said, so as not to cause a scene. I hit his hand. What that phrase there says is that if they were then alone, there would have been no sin created. Are you following me?
I get you.
So because they were
so as not to cause a sin, the way I interpreted it was like my husband is right behind me. Like, are you okay? Right? Again, I don't think I need full-blown story from Natasha to know that Akpabio probably squeezes something. I didn't tell you what it was squeezing, but it was squeezing something. Okay, but nonetheless, all we're asking for is just give the girl fair hearing. Don't suspend her for 6 months. Jesus, Alibaba, what are you doing, sir? These people that we respect so much, do they really have to have a camera in their face? Oh my God. Anyway, yeah, let me play a little bit more of that.
Others there, you didn't want to create a scene. So if there were no others there, there were no people there, you would have been okay. Those are not the kind of stories we should be hearing now. Where you
see conclusion, she would have been okay if there was no scene there.
Have a serious, and she needs to have better advisors. There are ways to go around these things that they need you to. ECOWAS court won't do International Senate, whatever, won't do because this is purely like they'll see it as two.
All right, so let's leave that alone for a second. There's a video here. Let's play it. Uncle Alibaba has another story for us. Let's play it.
I've been to the houses of a lot of these big men, governors and the rest of them, and I see wives. And I'm not kidding. Wives of people that I know coming to do things, and then we greet. So, I don't know how are you, how's everything? And then those guys will do all their philandering and tap her bomb. Come on, go back inside. I'm not finished with you. And then she goes back inside.
Somebody's wife.
And then I run into her at an event in Lagos, and the husband said, "Oh, how are you? Meet my wife." I said, "Oh, madam, it's a pleasure. I've seen you."
How are you? Meet my wife.
Nearly 5 years. Where have you been? And she's like, "Oh, I've been around." I said, "Oh, good to see you." And then we'll continue.
Yeah.
And maybe she then sees me somewhere again.
All right. That was a lot. That was a lot. Advisors are amazing. What an awful interpretation. What very senseless analysis. But Uncle Baba, how do we know if we don't investigate? Atayado. So the friend is using the war clock to do monitoring spirit for his friend. Yeah. MOP Reno never debunked the toasting. His argument is that the date Natasha claimed was not correct. He was not in the country. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Which is why I don't think a Reno story is relevant. But Nigerians think it's relevant. So who am I? There's a reason why they think it's relevant. So I'm still listening. You know what I'm saying? I'm still listening. What a fantastic fabu. Only the stories with cameras are true. Yeah, pretty much that's what he's saying. When a real story like this one shows up, he won't recognize it. Nigerian men don't like outspoken women. If she's fine on top, wahala. No, it looks like it's a big problem in that society. Toasting core, toast bread in here. I beg, what are these so-called elders talking about? Listen, that's where we're coming from. Oh, women cannot be trusted. They need a man to determine whether a story is true or not. At least on the social media, by some of our elders. Sorry, I'm confused though. What happened? What is this doers and contest? How did we just Baba, you go watch from beginning? Go and watch all of our Natasha clips. Yeah, he squeezed our hand when he was holding our hand. Aha. Are they friends? Equals the husband used to work for Akpabio. Well, they're colleagues, something like that. But he's a senator, so the office is occupied today. You know, they're just friends, they're acquaintances, they've been to each other's houses, but I don't see that as any, because people keep saying they are friends. Can we really believe? Sorry, but after all, they are friends. Nothing such happened. Like, but he squeezes. He squeezes. Oh Lord. Anyway, let's leave that at that. Speaking of cameras, I think I should cover one more because this story was actually going viral over the past. Today is a Tuesday, so I understand that nobody called and you guys are in chill, relax mode. I get it. Let me see if I can play this video from here. Hold on 1 second. All right, just hang in there. I'll be right back. Hit like, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications. I will be right back.
Girl, it's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Make love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.
My wife said,
"Oh, I'm gonna pull this story to the screen. We'll listen to it and then we'll round up the show with this one today. How's that? All right, we have Auntie Rita of TikTok. Let's see. Let's listen. Let's have it.
This in London.
Listen to the man's voice.
My wife stays in London. She was the one that brought me here as a dependent. So all of a sudden she came here and turned to another thing. Before you know it, she ejected me, pushed me out of the house. In fact, I got a contact from Lagos, from my brother. I told him what was going on. He said I shouldn't worry. He's going to give me a contact of one of my brothers here in Leicester. So I got the contact, called him. Then he was one that brought me down to this place and paid one-room apartment for me for 1 month. On the 8th of last month, So the place expired on the 8th of this month. If I had known that I found myself in this condition, I will not be here. I will manage myself back in Nigeria.
Wait, said Francis.
If I go back to Nigeria, where am I going to stay? Everything was disposed of before I started coming down to this place. The money I realized in Nigeria, I sent it to her. She said she sent the
Masculinity is a necessity. No man can survive without it.
All right, so masculinity is not relevant. But let's leave activity alone.
My wife says in
I'm gonna play the video again. I couldn't find the raw one. Masculinity is it's relevant, but that's not the highlight of what we're talking about. But just let's listen in here, okay? Anybody, the most masculine man can find himself in this kind of scenario, because obviously it's a moving target. So hopefully no condition is permanent, right? Being in your masculine frame sometimes can also be a function of your situation, you know. Confidence. Let's talk about confidence for a second. Confidence is a function of your situation. If you've gone through quite a few failures in recent times, it can tamper with your sense of confidence. And sadly, a lot of people they use confidence interchangeably with masculinity. It depends on what they're talking about. So let's even disregard that. Let's not make it. But let's dissect what this man actually said.
my wife stays in London.
My wife stays in London.
The one that brought me here as a dependent.
She was the one that brought me here as a dependent. Okay, a lot of people moved to the London, and they made arrangements, right? To one person should be dependent, and then we'll work our way through getting through school, and then who can work faster. Then I'll go to work while you're using because you're a woman. You use your work and your finesse as a woman, you find a job and you're needed in nursing, in NHS, and whatever, right? And then we'll use that to bring ourselves up. Okay? So, and a lot of people have done that in recent times, right? Mm-hmm.
So all of a sudden, she came there and turned to another thing.
All of a sudden, where's the rest of the all of it?
Explain, because no evidence.
Where is the rest?
What?
Where is the rest of the all of a sudden?
Wait.
Tell us. Don't jump through all of a sudden. That all of a sudden is at least 3 months, possibly 3 years. What happened? There's a movie called All of a Sudden. Okay? There's a movie, an Hollywood movie called All of a Sudden. It's 2 hours long at least. And that's after we cut it into small bits. We cut it into scenes, right? We make it, we sensationalize it. There's a love scene. There's a lot of things that happen. Killer mean. All of a sudden, what happened between the beginning of all and
Before you know it, she ejected me.
Before you know it. No, wait.
Before you know it,
Let's go back.
My wife stays in London. She was the one that brought me here as a dependent. So all of a sudden, she came there and turned to another thing. Before you know it, she ejected me.
Okay, let's expand it. Okay, there's all of a sudden, and before you know it, can we at least break down it? What is it? Can we break it down into pieces? We want to know everything that happened between all and it. All of a sudden, before you know it. Before you know it. What is it? We need to get down to the bottom of that. Before we talk about masculinity, abi femininity, abi submission, abi any of that nonsense, we need to know everything that happened there. I don't think we're going to be able to do that in 4 minutes, guys. We need at least a 2-hour movie for that. Let's keep going.
Of the house. In fact, I got a contact from Lagos, from my brother. I told him what was going on. He said I shouldn't worry. He's going to give me a contact of one of my brothers here in Leicester. So I got the contact, called him. Then he was one that brought me down to this place and paid one room apartment for me for 1 month.
Somebody paid one-room apartment for him for 1 month so he can actually move in somewhere. So it sounds like somebody that's not well established in the UK yet, which is it happens. Okay, all of us, if you haven't been through it, you know someone that was part of your vehicle to be here today that have been through that. Okay, so that's not the issue here. Is this narrative that all of a sudden a woman kicks you out? Is it possible that women kick people out of the house? Yes, absolutely. Yes, you know. But what you and I cannot agree on today in this session is why. Right? What do you mean why? What kind of possible why could it be that you will kick your husband? I don't know. I could give you a worst case scenario. A worst case scenario is that he's molesting his children. Hopefully not. Is it usually a worst case scenario like that? No. It could be a worst case scenario as we're arguing all the time and I feel threatened and you used to beat me in Nigeria and I'm not sure if you're going to beat me here. It could be a worst case scenario as like we were actually fighting together, but the police can only see scratch on her body and not on yours. Maybe she was even the one that hit herself. I don't know what happened there. But the point is that between all of a sudden and it, there is at least one movie. And you cannot judge this case unless you watch that movie. That's all I'm saying. You can't. Okay? I think the point Auntie Rita is trying to make is that if you're not a masculine person, a woman will drag you, blah, blah, blah. Irrelevant. Okay? Irrelevant. Absolutely irrelevant. All right? Let me come to the chat. Hold on 1 second. She said that's tough. She started to misbehave. I know it is the beginning of a movie. You know, the sound is the beginning of the movie. But we can't just jump to kick you out. That sounds like the end of the story. What's the other thing? He has no income. What is going on? How can she just kick him out? It's possible. There are evil women that will just kick you out. I doubt if that was his wife. There is more to the story. You cannot judge this story. If you judge this story, like, hey, that's what's wrong with this woman. They get to the abroad, they get to the Western world, and they become less submissive. It's no wonder. You see, that's the conclusion. It's no wonder why you got kicked out. I'm sorry. That line of thought, that angle to life, maybe that's what Rita meant by lack of masculinity. You're a victim. You're a victim, man. So of course you perpetuate. So you jump on a video somewhere and you start telling the story, and now you're a victim. Can they stop this stupid masculine feminine mess in 2025? They say maintain your masculine core so that you don't get to America. No, some people say the way you maintain your masculine core or frame is don't bring her to America. Tell her to sit in Nigeria. Okay? And nobody better blow her back out in Nigeria either. Because you're a masculine man and you will never accept such nonsense unless you expect it, of course.
I never expected it.
Alright, guys. Thank you so much. I had fun today. I gotta get to some other business. No, I'm not done for the day. But I gotta get some other business for the day. I'll be back here very, very soon. Do me a favor. Hit like, share, subscribe. Turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. Help me share this video. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Girl, it's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Make love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.